Look at that piece of hair.
Hi, everybody. It's Jean Humbrecht with Humbrecht Law. Welcome to my local business spotlight series. Today we have a special edition, special day and time with a special guest, Mayor Michelle Davis Younger. Mayor Michelle is Davis Younger is the mayor of Manassas. For anyone who does not know, so at this time. Um, Miss Davis Younger, I'm going to turn it over to you to just give a little brief introduction, and I'm going to do what I always do here. I'm going to share the videos on my different pages, and then I have a few questions I want to ask, and
Okay.
we'll have a conversation. So thank you so much
Well,
for joining me.
well, thank you. Thank you for always being so kind and always taking the high road. It is appreciated, especially now, and offering to do this. It's so important for me to ensure that correct information is out there, and I absolutely welcome conversations with anyone that will sit down and talk with me. So, um, and I sound like I'm in a barrel. I feel better than I did the other day. I don't know if you were at the city hall opening. Were you there? You were there.
I was
No.
there. I went to the ribbon cutting
Right,
and
right.
I was at city council
So,
as well.
and so I had sound like I feel much better because I've gone to the doctor, but still got a whole lot going on. So that's why I kind of sound dry and drained. It is that. And the stress of, I think, election time and not sleeping and not eating right and all that. But it is what it is. I signed up for it, right? So the good, the bad, and the ugly. But thank you for the opportunity to come on and talk and share all the wonderful things that are going on here. And there are some pretty wonderful things happening here in the city, and we're all just trying to make it through each and every day the best we can. And I'm here for it. So thank you.
Well, so the first thing I want to talk about, you just mentioned it. We'll start with that. All the things that are going on in the city. I live and work in the city,
Yes.
and I go to as much as I can. But
Yeah.
why don't you tell anybody who's watching all of the opportunities that are going on, all the things that are going on in the city that people can,
Yeah.
advantage
Well,
of and enjoy.
yeah, and we'll address the elephant in the room the first Fridays, but we have those, and they have been spectacular events, and they will continue to be so. We, have several festivals coming up. Our fall festival is coming up the first Saturday in October. I believe there is no more openings for vendors, which says even greater things about us because people want to be here. They know what a successful time that is for people who are vendors and looking to make lots of money here in the city, and they've all signed up, and I think there's no space for any vendors right now, so that's a good thing. That's our next big thing. We have First Friday, our last one of the year, um,
Right.
the night before, so it's one of those perfect storm weekends as well. So just want to touch briefly on, I know for last First Friday was just a cluster, and I'm getting ready to go. It was funny because, and I'm going to shout a couple of people out who did reach out to me, which I always appreciate rather than just jumping on social media. They actually called me. I'm getting ready to go to last First Friday. I'm getting ready to go to the scatter gardens at the cemetery. Woohoo! I have such a great life. And because they were actually cutting the ribbon on the new scatter garden that's been put at Rose Hill Cemetery, where those people have had their family members in urns for over 3, 4 years because they didn't have anywhere to put them to rest that have been cremated. And so now we have the scatter garden at Rose Hill where they can actually come. And it was a great event. I'm getting ready to go out the door and my phone starts blowing up and I have absolutely no idea what's going on. And
Mhm.
got to shout out Chris Sellers, CJ Finn's got to shout out Miguel. Chris is calling me. What is going on? The fire marshal is here tonight. I have absolutely no idea what was happening, what was going on. I said, Chris, you got to come down because everybody knows Chris. He's a little emotional. I love him, and he is on 10. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I do not know. And that's the God's honest truth. I had no idea. There had been a meeting. There had been discussions. I guess a plan had been put in place for occupancy, all these things. I did not know anything about it. And I think miscommunication, the fire marshal came in too early, right before First Friday was supposed to start. And then it just became this whole big thing. It got resolved that night where it got waived. They agreed to sit down, which I think they're in a meeting as we speak. They're meeting stakeholders, meaning Chris, Miguel, restaurant owners, Chief Keen, fire marshal, other folks that make decisions are all meeting right now. It may be over. It was at 1 o'clock today to talk about, okay, how does this not happen again? What went wrong? What do we do? But that's leadership. I spoke about this yesterday at OTBA. It is leadership. I may not be aware of what has happened and what has set things in motion, but when I am made aware, it is all right. What happened? We got to fix this, and it cannot happen again. And so we're hoping, we know next First Friday we should not have these issues, but I have not heard from Chief yet because the meeting is either still going on or to just end it, but he will update everyone accordingly. But it was the tale of two's tales, really, because I think, like for you, you said you came, didn't see anything, had a great time.
I did. I had a great time. I have no complaints whatsoever. I enjoyed the band. Like I
Right,
saw friends.
right,
Yeah.
right. And then other people are like, "Oh, it was a shit show." Da, da, da. I'm like, so it was just, I think, if wherever you were, if it affected you, if not, I mean, so we're on top of it. We're meeting. We're talking to the necessary people that have to be talked to. Should not happen again. We are not perfect. We're not always going to get everything right, but we certainly do not want the message to be that we want to shut folks down. We don't want people. Why would we do that on a First Friday when we got thousands of people making plans to come into the city?
Mhm.
That's never the intention. And I had no idea that any of that was happening. So, and I shouldn't, being the mayor, it shouldn't reach my level because I'm not at that level.
Right.
And by them calling me, I appreciated it. Don't get me wrong, because I needed to know this is happening and it's happening in my city. I am
Mhm.
responsible. But once I knew it was, let me get Doug on the phone. He's around there. Let me have him come around. And then he got in touch with the right people. So I'm not going to dwell on it, but just wanted that to get out there that where it's not us against them. It's none of that going on. And I think now this meeting has taken place, and there may be a couple of others before the first Friday in October, but we want this to be and continue to be a successful time in our community where families can come together and enjoy themselves. And that was the intention, and that's what we want. People are having a wonderful time when they come here on First Fridays, and it
Mhm.
has taken a turn, and we just got to get on top of it. And I remember when our problem was trash. And now we're at another level. We got that kind of taken care of. Now we're victims of our own success, which is a good thing. So we just want people to be safe, and we want them to have a good time as well. So there's that. So addressing that.
So just briefly following up on that, you made a comment that people were saying, or that you were saying you're not trying to shut, the city's not trying to like shut businesses down or anything
Right.
like that. I didn't get that impression at all. What
No.
I saw, and so obviously, like I live walking distance to Old Town, and my boyfriend and I, we walked to Sinistro to see the band, Tony Finley, Jagged Edge, great. They play a lot of First Fridays. Had a fantastic time. Great service, had a great time. We ended up at one of the new restaurants, Loom, later, which shout out to them. They're fantastic. Everybody
Yep.
should check them out. Um, it, didn't see any problems at all. Like had a great time. There was nothing out of control. And I saw what I usually see. The restaurants after the bands end, which it's always 10 give or take a few minutes. But there's a band on Battle Street. There's a band outside Sinistrel. Sometimes CJ Finn's. All great establishments. But when the bands are done, most people go into the restaurants, which is normal. So I mean that's what happened again. I mean the restaurants were they got business because people came into town, and then obviously it's when the bands were done, people wanted to continue having a good time. That's what
Right.
I saw. So
Right, right. Yeah, and there was, which I think, and I had even commented to Miguel and Chris both because, and I hate to keep shouting them out, but they were the two that talked to me. I didn't hear from anyone else, but they had said, they got together collectively and they decided that they were shutting down at midnight to try to negate some of this, craziness that had been happening. I thought that was great, and it was wonderful that they took the responsibility to do that and not let 21 and under in after a certain time. And all, I mean, that to me is what you should do when you see a problem, you acknowledge it. That's what leaders do. And so and then the whole fire marshal thing, that was a whole other set of worms there. So,
yeah.
but I'm glad you had a good time and didn't run into anything. And I think I talked to other people as well who said that they also had a good time and they noticed it was a little different, seemed a little strange, like people were talking about it more than there actually being a problem. People were just
Right.
talking about it, what had
Right.
happened. And
Right.
so, and that's fine. People are going to talk. So, they're going to keep it going. But I think for the most part, people had a great time.
Mhm.
My hope is that, and I'm working toward making sure that the next one is goes a whole lot better, and that we can all enjoy ourselves on first Friday in October.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, I know I will be there as
Of
always.
course, of course. And then come back for the fall festival the next day. That's always such a great day. It's always such a great day in the city. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so another thing that I wanted to discuss for all those watching, most of us know that in Virginia we have elections every year.
What?
And we all think of the big you see on TV all the time,
Yeah.
but your election is coming up. You ran for the first. I'll just give a brief introduction, let you talk
Mhm.
about it. You ran for the first time for mayor 4 years ago, and the election, your reelection, is coming up this November. So
Mhm.
if you could tell everybody
Yep.
watching, what your experience, the things that you've done since you originally took office, during COVID and all that,
Yeah.
which must have been
Yeah. It's crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
and then
Right. Crazy.
what you plan on doing next time, and then tell people when election day is and early voting and all that stuff.
Yeah, early voting is next Friday, starts on the 20th. You'll start to see everybody out at the registrar's office all day. I plan to be out there as well to greet voters, hand out sample ballots and all that.
Hmm.
The message that I send to everyone is I don't care about party. You need to vote. You
Hmm.
need to get out and vote. Do not sit home. Do not waste that. Get out and vote no matter what. If you don't vote for me, that's okay. Many people are telling me that now. That's fine. I just want you to get out and vote because that's what's important. Yes, I am running again. And yes, it seemed really hard during COVID when I ran, but this time seems worse in that people were more focused on the pandemic than they were on, sorry, the train,
Oh,
on the nastiness and the stuff that I'm seeing now. And so, certainly don't want a pandemic to come back, but I just think I am not a person to tear others down to build myself up. I will stay positive and I will just run my race, and the voters will choose who they want for mayor. But you do not see and will not see the negativity on another person or tearing someone down. It's not necessary. And so, at the end of the day, like I said yesterday at OTBA, we all want what's best for the city. We may not agree on how to get there, but after November, you've got other people up on that dais that vote. The mayor does not vote. And that's what I have to keep reminding people of. The mayor breaks ties and they do not vote. You've got to get six people to agree to do things and put the majority forward. So the things that you're doing now during this election season, remember that comes back up. And if you get the seat, people don't forget. And so just take the high road as much as you can. Have conversations with people instead of just spewing negativity and joining the crowd and hating on folks for whatever. Ask questions, email, talk to folks. Ask what your plan is. We have had, I think, an amazing 4 years coming out of the city, has had an amazing 4 years coming out of COVID with our AAA bond credit rating intact. Intact. A lot of cities could not do that. We saw Old Town Strong stand up. Shout out to Greg Cook, who has passed away, and we were so sad about that. But that came out of COVID. Our businesses, some of them suffered, some of them closed. That was going to happen, but for the most part, this city did well. We came out of it well. We moved forward. You see all of the things. You live here, so you see all of the progress we're making with the developments. With Old Town Inn came down, and we're in talks right now. There's a lot of stuff that I see online that we cannot talk about because we are in closed session,
hmm.
and I want to just jump on and go, you don't even know, but you can't, and that's the thing. And some people joining those conversations who do actually know how it works, that you can't discuss it and you can't say anything. You just have to wait and see. And then I see the negativity, and it's like, wow, if they would just wait and not do that. Ask questions. I will answer as much as I can without violating closed session rules. But We have developments. We have new dean coming with the schools. We've got, gosh, I mean, it's just so much going on with Marsteller, the purchase of Marsteller. That will be our community center. We've got three parks coming with that. The fire station one will be over there. We've got Mathis Avenue. The EDA is purchasing that. You see the Grand Avenue. I know everybody is talking about all the paving and all of that going on, but that will be done soon, and you don't have to worry about that too much longer. I know the roundabout threw everybody into a whole spin, but the idea is to slow traffic down and keep people from speeding down through. There were a lot of people that walk those areas, and it
Uh-huh.
needed to be safety. These things are not just decided overnight, and we do have studies done and engineering, and they do all the things that they're supposed to do to make sure that we're being safe.
Mhm.
Um, just, I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's a lot going on that we're doing in the city, but we're moving forward, and we want people to be more involved, and we want them to come to council meetings. And we've seen some uptake in that, and some residents showing up, which is great. And you have public comment time, and we have town halls. We have all of that, and we want to hear from you, and we do listen. Everybody's not going to get what they want all the time, but we try to meet the needs that need to be met as much as we can. And then we try to listen to you and work with you um, to get things done. So there is a lot going on. You are right. So I know I saw somewhere where it was said that people were leaving, resigning the city and all that. Right now, we have three openings on senior leadership. One was a health issue. Person had to leave because they got cancer,
Oh.
and the other one, I think we've backfilled that one that had left. But I am an HR consultant. That is my business. I teach people how not to have a toxic environment.
Mhm.
I have let people go because, and in my business and the clients that I support, I have had to let people go because they've had toxic people. And that is something that you do not want in your organization, is toxic people. I am not that. And I believe that our employees, we have so many awesome, awesome employees that work for this city. There are a lot of them, I would say maybe the bulk of them, that don't even live here in the city of Manassas. They commute in. And why do you think that is? Because they like working for the city of Manassas. They don't think it's toxic. They think it's a great place to be, and it is. We're getting ready to have our Above and Beyond Awards this week, I believe, to show appreciation for these people who choose to work for the city of Manassas. They could be closer home. They don't have to come all the way. We have people coming from Winchester, Culpeper, from all over. They don't even live here, and they choose to come to the city. So, getting back to the openings um, we've revamped the communications director. We're now calling it, and it is online for anybody that's interested, public affairs specialist, because we need that. We've advertised that job, and I believe it's water and sewer director, I believe, is what's out there now, senior leadership, and of course the city manager. Another thing I saw is that we can't hire a city manager because nobody wants to work with me. The people that we have interviewed, I do not know. Manassas was, and I'll continue to say it, Manassas was extremely, um, I say blessed, but fortunate to have had two city managers who each were here 10 years. That's unheard of.
Mhm.
We have not had to look for a city manager for a very long time. And usually their lifespan is like 5 years, and most of the time.
Mhm.
Then they roll out. We were fortunate to have city managers here for 20 years straight, basically.
Mhm.
And we haven't had to do it. We had interviews, we looked. We are special in this city. And we are not just going to put anyone in a seat just to fill a seat so that people will stop talking. That is not going to work. We have to have the right person in that seat. We are a diverse community. We know what we need, and we're not going to settle for anything less. We deserve to have the best. Our residents deserve to have the best in that seat. It is a big job. People also don't understand. It's a city manager, council run form of government. I'm what they call a weak mayor. The city manager and the council run the city. and they're the ones that have to work with and deal with the city manager. The mayor does too, but it's the city council and the city manager that meet and get things done, and the mayor pushes along behind it. But to say that we are going to take our time, we want the right person, because that's what Manassas deserves. We are special and we are unique, and we know what it takes to be successful here, and we're just not settling for anyone. So we've put it back out there. We're getting a lot. We got a report yesterday, showing some of the demographics of who's applied. I think it's the 25th is when it closes. So we have people applying, and we're going to go at it again. We are going to get the right person in there. We're not just going to stick anybody in it, because the city deserves better. You deserve better than that. And we want it to be the right person who's going to take us forward and catches the vision of the council and what the mayor wants to see here. And if it doesn't match, we're just going to keep looking until the right person comes. So we're very excited about what's ahead, because I believe we'll find them in this next batch. But if not, we're going to keep moving forward. But it is certainly not because people don't want to work with me. I don't know any of these applicants. So I that is just simply not true. So.
So Patrick Pate was the former
Mhm.
city manager, and
Mhm.
I remember I met him the same day I met you when I had my 5-year anniversary
Oh
party,
yeah, yeah.
ribbon cutting, when I officially moved my business to the city of Manassas, and that was almost you know
That's
but
right,
well, and then you ran for mayor. Yeah, so that was what,
right after that.
4 years, 3 4 years, like you,
Hmm.
you all worked together. And my understanding, I might be wrong, but didn't he move?
Yes, he moved. He
Yeah.
went to North Carolina. Yes, he went,
Yes.
and that's where his wife. When people don't know, that's where his wife was. That's where his mother-in-law was, and they were like commuting back and forth. And
Yeah.
so that's that's what ended up happening. He ended up moving down there. But
Makes
um,
sense. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it does. And
yeah.
so we don't have resignate. We just don't have what people have put out there.
Hmm.
And so we have, like I said, including the city manager, just two other positions right now that are open, and people are applying. We've had people that had left because of toxic environment before I came along. They worked here and they had left, and then they're now back. So if it was toxic, why they come back? So I'm not even going to get into that, but we've had people return, and because they know that we are a good place to work, we take care of our employees, and we appreciate them so much for what they do for us. Our staff is amazing.
Hmm.
They
So
are.
I wanna just briefly get into all the businesses. Well, I do want to talk more about events in Manassas, but I want to talk about all the business. So much has changed in a good way in such a short period of time. We've had so many new businesses come to the city. The new restaurants that opened where Okra's used to be, and they're
Hmm.
both always packed. I mean, there
Hmm.
are always people, coming to the city, whether it's people that live here or don't. It's probably a mix of both. But so many businesses are opening. So I don't know. Oh, and you are just, I mean, I've seen, like, so supportive of all local
Oh
businesses.
yeah,
And I mean, obviously you can't do everything, but like as many ribbon cuttings as you can, and
yeah,
just supporting all the local businesses, and including mine and my book signings. And I
yeah,
don't really appreciate it, and I know everybody else does
yeah.
too. So if you just want to talk maybe about, like, all the new businesses or
Yeah,
anything else.
it's so important when a business chooses your city, and to me, I know I if I were to come here from Fairfax or wherever, probably wouldn't get that attention like you would here in the city. To me, it's important that the mayor came to my ribbon cutting.
Hmm.
That to me says a whole lot. It says thank you for choosing us, because you can go anywhere, but you chose to be here. And I say it when I talk. And I mean it, because you can choose to go anywhere, but you chose here. And why? Because I felt welcome. Your economic development people were amazing to work with. I love what you're doing here. These are the things that I'm hearing. And so for the mayor to take time out to be at a ribbon cutting, it takes a half an hour. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position with my job and when my parents, when I don't have to run them to the doctor, that I'm able to do these things. But to me, that's where those relationships are built. When you reach out and you show up for people, I believe they will show up for you as well. And they will be the biggest cheerleaders for the city. it is supporting the businesses, large and small. I mean, we have BAE, we have Lockheed Martin, we have Micron. They're doing amazing things in this community as well. They're giving us volunteers to work in the schools, to help with the kids and the different activities that go on here. And the small businesses need us to bring people in. The more I'm out there, hey, you got to come and see what we got going on in the city because it's amazing there. We've got every pallet, anything you can think about eating, we can pretty much meet that need, right?
True.
No matter what it is, we got you covered. And it's the messaging and it's the welcoming and it's the inclusivity of everybody. And businesses are feeling that and they are wanting to be a part of it. They're excited when they call economic development. Hey, we heard, our space, our retail space is pretty much taken all up in commercial space, but we have, this restaurant wants to look at coming here, or this church, or this. Everybody is wanting to come here because they know they will be welcomed and they will be successful if I have anything to do with it. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is good to walk around and see so many people packing out our restaurants and going to our many businesses. Filigree folks, amazing. We recently had the Fox 5 day trip out here. We highlighted so many of our restaurants and businesses, and that's the kind of stuff that we want to keep promoting so people see we are that community where you can come here, bring your business here, and you will be successful. Honey and Ivy, we use them over and over because they started at the farmer's market, just a tent at the farmer's market, and now brick and mortar. And she is doing so well. And she won, I think, the 2024 Prince William Award for Best Bakery, and I forget the other award. Sorry, Emily, but two awards. I
Hmm.
mean,
I
they're
saw that
brand new.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, they're brand new, and these are the success stories. And then we're getting ready to cut it. I don't know what it's not necessarily cutting a ribbon, but there's four businesses that are celebrating or having a ribbon cutting at Centrifuge. We're going to do all four of them in one day. That's coming up soon. I
Huh.
mean, this is like constant. So I know I've been calling event professional. What is it? Professional event attender. But if that's what being there is, then that's what I own. Because to me, you should be there and you should show up for your community because that to me is what a mayor does. You are promoting, you are pushing, you are showing up for them so people will show up for them. If the mayor's there,
Hmm.
then I should go. What is that about? I saw her talking about that. So many people say that to me. So, yes, I'm going to show up. Yes, I'm going to be there for the businesses because it is important that they know the government sees you and we appreciate you because you can choose to be anywhere.
Hmm. Hmm.
Get
That's
off
true.
my box. Sorry.
I mean, you were at. I just celebrated my 10-year
Came right on
inaugural
in.
anniversary.
Came right on in. Yep.
5 years in the city, and you were there, and Tom Osina from City
Yep.
Council, he was there, and
Yep.
Ashley
Ashley.
was
Yep.
running. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I can't shout out everybody that was there because I
Yeah.
don't want to leave anybody out in there.
A lot of people. And it was hot that day too. So I just want you to know
Yeah,
I came out in that melting heat and
I'm sorry, but
heat and sweat. Mm-mm. So
I was hot too. Yes, it was 100 degrees,
but it
but
was good. It was
despite
good.
that,
It was good.
Michelle and so many other people, I really appreciate you
Yeah.
and everybody coming in. It was just nice that so many people came out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
support, and it
Well,
was
you
First
well,
Friday. I
you
mean, they could
well,
have been
you
anywhere.
support, right? You support. You come to council meetings. You show up as soon as you moved in the city. You started showing up, and you come, and so that's what it's about. It's the give and take. Oh, she came. I need to really try and make that for her. Even if you can't stay but 5 minutes, you come and show love, and you move on. But at least your face is in the place, and we're saying thank you because you again could choose to be anywhere. You're one of those 2,000 people that actually live and work in the city, which I'm trying to turn into a much larger number in my next 4 years, hopefully.
Hmm.
And I want that number to be larger. I want people to be able to live and work here. It's awesome. I mean, I think that's the best story ever. I live and work in Manassas City. I love it. So yeah, it was a good time, and thank you for again choosing the city to have your business. So
Of course, I
yeah,
mean, I
where else
enjoy it.
would you go?
But you just mentioned your next 4 years. So why don't we segue into that? What is it that you plan to do? If you're reelected this
Yes.
November, and then
Well,
also in the course of that, maybe talk about the things that you've done that we hadn't touched on, like my mayor looks like me program and all that
yeah.
stuff.
That the my mayor looks like me and the midday with the mayor, all those things were things that I created coming into the seat. So they're not requirements of the mayor, but I thought it enhanced the mayor and it brought the mayor into the community where people could just have everyday conversations and sit down and talk with the mayor, which is something I didn't feel comfortable doing years ago. But to open up and to be that mayor that's in the community and approachable, and you can just come and talk to and ask questions. For me, it is continuing on the same path we are doing, being smart about our investment in the community. It is about, you know, helping the economy grow to cut the tax base because the more businesses come in, we can cut things down. But we have to look at everything. We're not going to, we have great services here. We want that to continue. We hear you. We have to pay the taxes as well. We are not exempt from any of that. So it helps us to do the same thing. But we want to make sure that we're taking care of our police, our fire, our teachers. We've got to, our staff. We know that we have to tackle affordable housing. That's at the very top of the list. We have the veterans housing, preferable housing that is just right there. We are so close. There are funds that are earmarked from Senators Kane and Warner right now to finish that project and get it done. But they've got to release them. They've been earmarked, and I'm like pounding on them every day. Where my money? Where my money? I need my money. But that those are the phone calls that I'm making and having. Like, I need to get this done. I at least want to start with that, and then we tackle. We put in this budget a housing coordinator. That person is going to identify and help us find what works for Manassas, because we're again not just going to do it because everybody else is doing it. All that. We have to ignore that noise and do what's best for our residents and do what's best for the city, because every what works over there will not work here. We are special and we're unique. We're only 10 square miles wide, so we have to be smart about where we are investing, and we have to think it through, and we have to have a good council in place that can agree. And that's where it all pulls down to, is council being able to say yes. So you've got to get 6 people to say yes to a project before anything happens. Like I said, the mayor only breaks ties, and so those decisions are made at the council level. So you've got to have 6 really good, smart folks that want to invest in the community in place. Um, Inclusivity, just keep doing that, working with the schools, making sure teacher pay, is taken care of. Our relationship, it hadn't been the greatest, but it's certainly not in the trash, as some people would have you believe. We all have our differences and opinion, again, on how to get to A. We just want to take different paths, but we respectfully disagree on some things and we agree on others, but we know that we're going to get a new dean and that's going to be a great thing. So it's important to know that this path that we're on is so amazing because we are investing in our community. And that's what people see, and they're loving that. And we are hearing you, and we are implementing things as we can. We had it was like a perfect storm where all this stuff was happening back to back, but you got to pounce on opportunities when they come. But thankfully, councils before us had done the smart things. They had invested, we had saved, we invested, we kept the bond rating, we did all of these things so that we could purchase when things came up. We could purchase Old Town, and hopefully a hotel will be going there. Still a lot of discussion going on there. The community has said they want a hotel there. That is my desire. I definitely want that. But again, closed discussions happening. Can't talk about anything. Dominoes will start to fall as soon as certain things happen. We just can't talk about it. But it's not that we don't have a plan, because we do.
Mhm.
But we just can't talk about it. And so, getting that done, housing. I mean, we've got a lot of housing being built right now. We just did broke the ground on Ashbury across from Georgetown South. We have the Dries homes being built off of Godwin over there. Can't remember, the King's Landing, I think we're calling them. Those are townhomes. That's Mike Vanderpool's old property. Most people know. Jefferson, we still have homes down there in Jefferson being sold down there. And so a lot of development happening, and we are aware it's more traffic, it's more people, it's more. We are aware of that. We live here too. We see it too. But we are planning. We have our 5-year comprehensive plan coming up, review coming up. That's where we need to hear from the public. Sign up and speak. When you see, watch the agendas, and you will see public hearing time. And that's when you come and you say, hey, I'm not in favor of this, or I'm in favor of that. You need to come and show up. So I don't know. I think I answered you. I think about it's just so much to do. I want to see everything that we're purchasing and doing. I want to see it grow. I want to see it come up out of the ground. I want to see our airport. That's another thing. We got that coming on, hopefully
Mhm.
25, 26. So seeing all of these things that we've now started sort of grow and take fruit and get there. It's going to be years out, but to see it continue and
Mhm.
more people moving in. The quarterly reports we get 138 people last quarter bought homes, individuals bought homes here. They are coming here. And
Mhm.
so we've got to have a decent city for
Mhm.
them to be in. And we know what it takes. And we just have to trust. I trust our staff. I trust them that they're doing the work. They're putting in the hours. They're doing crossing the T's and dotting the I's and making sure that we're doing things that are right for the city.
Mhm. And you mentioned the airport. Are you referring to the commercial flights that are going to be coming?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. That's $125 million investment that they will be making. Still don't know what flights. We just heard the lower fare. I told them as long as one Spirit, we were good. But that's coming. Working on that. The Wawa. I got an email that sort of took me off my kilter a little bit this morning. Um, that happened 3 years ago. That was my
Right.
first time breaking vote when I took the seat. And I did break the tie to bring the Wawa, and the Wawa's next to the hospital for anybody that doesn't know. And to get an email about it today for someone to say that they were going to take my yard sign out of their yard because they just found out that I was the tie breaking vote on the Wawa. And so I reached out and said, hey, I would love to have a conversation with you. If you give me your number, I can call you. But and I said this when I voted, before I voted on that to break the tie, I went and I prayed about it. Was it the right thing to do? I felt peace about it and I went forward and said yes. What I took into consideration, that location is in a neighborhood where there are a lot of lower income people that live. There's a bus stop right there.
Mhm.
This is before I knew the community center was going to go there. The hospital's right there, easy to get to. People can walk there. The kids can get jobs at that Wawa. And I just met with the general manager a couple of weeks ago when they first decided to come here. They were going to pay $15 an hour. And those kids, they can ride their bikes. They don't have to have a car. They can walk and have a decent wage. They can make decent money at this Wawa. And what was there before? Are you kidding me? That strip, you remember what it looked like? People don't even remember what it looked like now because the Wawa came in and took it. But it was, rundown kind of shops in there. They had the one medical supply place that was doing really well, but it was just not kept up, and it really was an eyesore. And so the Wawa comes in, it's bringing wages, it's bringing revenue into the city. And that was important for me that they would be able to get good jobs close by. People at the hospital, when they leave at night, they don't have to cross the street. They
Mhm.
can go right to a Wawa, get some food. If you're there, you know how it is. And you go to the hospital, sometimes let you out 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. If the
Yeah.
nurses need gas, if the workers need gas, they can go right there and get gas. They can get something decent to eat.
Mhm.
And that all of that came into consideration for me, and looking at how, as any decision, how it helps the city. How is this going to benefit the city? And so that played a big role of it. Meeting with that manager, and I'll let that this go after this. Meeting with the manager last week, she and I were talking, and she said, "Oh, I want to let you know I did some research." And she said, "You guys have Lockheed Martin, you have Micron, you have BAE, and these people are paying pretty good wages." She goes, "We've decided to up our wage to 17.50 an hour versus 15. I think they'll make more than me as mayor." At 17.50 an hour, I believe it is more than I make 20K a year. 17.50 an hour for a kid that is 16 years old, doesn't have to have a car, can go right after school, work 4 or 5 hours. That's amazing. That's an amazing opportunity. We have an Osborne High School graduate who started working at Wawa, and he is now the general manager of a Wawa. And I think he manages several of them. What a story. The grand opening for the Wawa is November 14th. I cannot wait. So excited.
I'm putting that in my
Put
calendar.
it down. Yes, we're gonna hopefully have the high school band, and it's gonna be a great celebration because that is a decision that, and I I was so nervous about it, but I feel like I did the right thing, and sorry to have lost a supporter, but that happens. No hate.
Well, I mean, now when you explain it, it makes total sense because if anyone has ever been in a hospital, it not even off hours, odd hours. Sometimes the cafeteria is closed, the cafe is closed, and all you have is a
Mhm.
vending machine.
That
If that, and yeah, I mean,
mm,
sometimes you're there for a long time. You need something to eat. I mean,
right.
like I've been in that situation.
Right. Have you had Wawa's food? It's pretty darn good.
I have.
They got some good food, and that my parents 90 and 86, they have me on a first name basis. I should have my own wing at the hospital by now, but I am there in those times of the morning and starving, and
Yeah.
and you just, when you leave, you're like, oh, I just want to, just get something to eat or gas or whatever. And they're gonna have the EV charging stations and all that too.
Yeah.
It just was, I believe, the right thing to do. So I'm never gonna please everybody, but certainly my heart is never to do anything that's going to harm the city, but always for bringing in good. And revenue is never a bad thing. So
No, it's not.
so excited about the Wawa, November 14th. Put it on your calendar.
It'll
Yes.
be on my calendar, and I'll share it on my page too.
17.50 an hour. I am so excited about that. I'm just like, are you serious? Yeah.
My first job when I was 17, I made 7.50 an hour. With
Yeah.
that was, and it was a lot. I mean, that was good.
You were like hot stuff,
I
right?
know.
Well, I started my first job was because I went to Stonewall. And so I was in the high school co op program, and I'd leave, well, Unity Read now, but I would leave there and go to IBM, $4.25 an hour. And these kids are going to be making 17. I mean, it just blows my mind. And I had tears in my eyes, and she said, I didn't think it'd make you cry. I said, you have no idea. I thought 15 was great. And then here you come telling me you're going to up it to 17.50. So they're going to be hiring soon. So watch for that and share it, because we want our kids to get our jobs, and it'll make life better for so many families that need it. So that's always where I'm going to come from, in trying to help make it better here for everybody. Yeah.
Well, Michelle, I know you are very busy.
Oh, I
You
don't even know what
cut,
time it is. Oh gosh, it's almost 3 o'clock. Yay.
cut me off when you need to
I
cut me
think
off.
three's good. I think three's good. Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll make this quick.
Yeah.
You mentioned the ribbon cutting on 11/14.
Mhm.
11 no 11/14. That's how we talk at court. Sorry.
It's okay. November 14th. Oh,
November.
our ribbon cutting, right? And we have
And so that actually led me to something that I wanted to briefly touch on, ribbon cuttings. You're always mentioning that there are so many ribbon cuttings because there are so many businesses coming to the city. So if you want to
mhm.
say anything, about just about that.
No, I mean we have more. I got like 3 or 4 today.
Oh,
And what's really good is it's some businesses that opened didn't have a ribbon cutting, and they've been open for a little bit. We got one for the lady that just opened up Studio Lux over there across from the Things I Love in Historic
oh,
Down.
right.
She sells the dresses and the hat.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful store. She's doing a ribbon cutting, but she's been there, right? But she's just now going to do a ribbon cutting, and it's great. I'm like, you should have done, but people don't know, word doesn't get out, and so now everybody's catching on, and people are now doing 1 year celebrations, 10 year celebration, things like that, and
Hmm.
they'll cut a ribbon, and they should, because that's advertisement for your business. That's
Hmm.
telling people you're here, you're still here, you ain't going anywhere, and we
Hmm.
love it. What better message is that? But yeah, hers is coming up. There's like 3 or 4 more that they just pop in on my email. I'm like, wow, it's just incredible. It is incredible. And it's such a good feeling that we have created that space and that environment that people love to come here. They want to come here. They have a desire to come here because they know they can be successful right here. That's the thing. That's what it's about, though.
And I will tell you, as a homeowner, I'm still proud that I'm a new homeowner.
Yes,
I bought my
congratulations again.
first house, well, condo, but whatever. Bought my
Same,
bought my
still.
first home in the city of Manassas and work in the city of Manassas, and I love it. And I'm walking distance to Old Town, and I love that there's just the convenience. There's so much to do. Oh, and I just
Mhm,
want to briefly, there are events every single weekend. So in addition
mhm,
to the Saturday Farmers Market, which I love,
mhm,
there's always
mhm.
something on Saturday. There's the Thai
Yep,
festival
yep,
or every other
yep,
Sunday. Tomorrow
yep,
is African Food Festival, which I'm going
yep,
to check out because I
yep,
love that food. I mean, there's
yep.
always something to do. I don't know why I went down this tangent. Oh, I was talking about how much I love living in the city. There's so much to do, and you know
Yep.
what? I feel safe, and
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
woman, living by myself, like, then that's really important. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel safe walking
Yeah.
around, and everybody is so nice, and I feel comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, and I know crime. People talk about, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we get lumped in with the county. And when something happens in the county, they say Manassas, and it's like, "Arr!" Say Prince William County, and
Mhm.
say City of Manassas. If you see a blue car, it's Prince William County. If you see a white and blue, it's City of Manassas. So we get lumped in a lot with the crime that's going on. I've heard people say our crime is all the. It's really not. If you want to have a conversation, you can call in, talk to Chief Keen any day. Trey Lawler is our interim chief till we find a city manager and he goes back. Somebody said Doug needed to go back to policing, but I think he's doing a great job handling both.
Mhm.
And I feel like, I don't think I'm wrong. Our city is safe. Every city has its challenges. Every city is going to have its drug use and things like that. We're doing what we can, and our police officers are the best in the business. I mean, we have our accreditation. When we had that recent abduction of that young lady, 24 hours that was done. That was done. And on a first Friday. So that just tells you the
Right.
response time was totally incredible on that. When we are aware of something, we are on top of it. We do care. And it is not out of control as some people would have you think. And a lot of times, again, we get lumped in with the county stuff, and it's not us in the city, but we are definitely very fortunate to have the men and women that we do on our police force because they are extremely responsive.
Mhm.
Everybody doesn't get it that way all the time, and I understand there's these few times where I called and they're not coming, and that's going to happen. Nobody said that's not going to happen, but there's always something. It's going to be a reason, or if they're pulled in one direction, they can't get over here or something like that. You have to have some patience and you have to have some understanding of folks, but they certainly have our best interest at heart always, always.
And I will tell you from my professional um, experience, there's going to be crime everywhere. I mean,
Everywhere.
I do criminal defense and I also prosecute for a town.
Mhm.
It's it it has existed as long as people have been on this earth.
Right. And it ain't going
So,
anywhere.
but and if I recall correctly, when I was at a midday with the mayor, I don't even know when because everything blends together. Chief Keen was your guest, and
Yeah, that
he was
was a while ago. Yeah,
well, it was a while ago, but he was talking about
last year.
how the numbers, I think, had actually gone down.
Mhm,
Am I
mhm,
correct?
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
at the time, yeah. And I don't think they're up any higher. Like we have these one-off incidents, like with that young lady,
Well, yeah.
things like that. You got your drug, use and things like that, but it's really not out of control as some people have painted it to be. It is really not like that.
Hmm.
You can't lump First Friday in with crime is out of control and crime is that's a different animal right there.
Yeah.
And so we're dealing with that. But I just I just want people to have facts, and I want them to just take the high road and spread kindness and get your facts and your information from us, those that are in the know. And I don't claim to know everything, but I will certainly do everything in my power to make sure that you get the right information in your hands because you deserve that. You deserve an answer. And if you're not, then I'll tell people follow back up with me. If you're not getting an answer, if somebody let me know, and then I'll lean back in and say, hey, what's going on with this? Because they're not hearing from someone. That's how you get things done, and that's how you hold accountability. We have a town hall coming up. I'm going to leave with that. That is on Monday night at 7 p.m. right here. We're back at City Hall. It's beautiful in the chambers, our newly renamed Edgar Rohr Chambers. We did that last Monday. His son was in tears, Chip Rohr, but he pushed for that for so long, and we're so glad to have finally done that. But we have town hall on Monday night. The subject is parking. Ooh, I've already got a file a mile thick.
I
People,
bet.
yeah, they've emailed. We have we have our different areas like Point of Woods and Bristol Station and Georgetown, and so everybody's wanting different things. We want our parking district. People are parking here and they don't live here, and we got stickers here, and it's that. But this is where you come and you bring us. Okay, what's the issue? What do we need to do? We have staff there to answer questions. We will have the people there to answer questions. And if we can't, we may have to get back to you, but we'll certainly you bring it up and we will try to resolve it as soon as we can and as best we can.
Mhm.
So that's Monday night.
Mhm. And if anybody wants to know about all of these things going on, these opportunities that they have to participate in
Mhm,
their government's decisions, it's
mhm.
all on the city of
Yep.
Manassas website,
Yep.
correct?
Yep. ManassasCity.org. I think ManassasVA.gov. I mean, it's put in City of Manassas in Google and it'll come up for you.
Yeah.
Our City Connection has every event on the back page that's going on in the city. Anything that's going on here is on the back page of that
Mhm.
comes in your utility bill, and most people get their stuff online. You can go online and put in City Connection and see that as well. To get all the information you need about what's going on in your city. That's
Mhm.
why it's there.
Mhm. And there are tons of events. I'm overwhelmed with the
It's a lot.
options.
It's a lot. If you're bored, it's your fault. That's what I tell people. If you're
I'm never
bored, it's your fault. Right. It's your fault if you're bored. So,
I'm never bored. If anything, I'm like, I shouldn't be home right now. I should be out
no,
doing
you're
this.
doing something right. So this is
Well,
great.
um, I'm gonna leave it to you to, I'm not gonna ask you any more questions, except is there anything else that you want to talk about, regarding the election, what you've done over the past 4 years, anything we've talked about, things coming up in the city before we end today?
No, I think we covered mostly everything. I certainly appreciate anybody that's willing to. I'd appreciate your vote for mayor again. I think we're on a good path. I'd like to continue. I love representing the city. As I have said many times before, people say I make it all about me, but it is about you at the table. It is Manassas going with me in these rooms. It is Manassas sitting at the table. People are saying Manassas more than anything now, more than we've ever heard it. Hey, did anybody reach out to Manassas? Right here. I'm good. I'm right here. That is you. That is the residents. That is all 43,000 people with me in those rooms. And nothing makes me more proud. Do you think it was by accident that then Mr. Biden started the campaign here in the city of Manassas? It's because Manassas keeps popping up. And why? Because I've been out there, I've been pushing us and all the great things that we're doing. We got to keep it going. I think I'm the best one to keep it going and keep it moving forward. And just being regional and being there, showing up for other people, and they've shown up for me. Absolutely. So I just hope people do what they need to do. Vote. I don't care. Party, whatever. Vote. Do not waste that opportunity. That is your voice, and what directs this city going forward. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm Michelle Davis, and I approve this message. No, I'm just kidding. I've been waiting to do that.
Prove it.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking your time. You're very busy. You're obviously much busier than
Oh,
I am,
yeah.
and I'm
I had
busy.
to,
So
I had to take my dad to the doctor earlier today, and I thought, oh God, at least he's asking me to drive him now. He's not driving, y'all. He's 90 years old. So I tell people, sorry, if he's on the road when you are, hey, you're on your own. But he asked me, so I thought maybe we're starting to go down that road where he's not feeling as stable. So I was like, nope, I'll do it. I'll make time. I'll make it happen. He's, you got so much going on. Nope, I'm good. I'll get you there, Dad. No problem. And he does ask him for prayers because he did have a little bit of pneumonia. So, and he's
wow,
90. So, yeah, it can be a little scary at that age, but he
yeah,
said he felt okay. And then I got mom too. She had dialysis. She's rolling out of the house going to dialysis, and I'm taking him to the doctor. So then I got to rush back here and do mayor stuff. So
yeah,
this is the life. So it's all
yeah.
good though. It's all good.
You're a person just like everybody else.
Am I really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I certainly have feelings, and I'm trying to take all of this in stride and see it for what it is, and know that it's a moment in time, and that I will never, ever push anyone down to make myself feel better because it's not necessary.
Mhm.
So I appreciate the love everybody's been showing me, and just let us just keep moving forward. That's all it's about, is moving forward positively and
Mhm.
caring about each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to end this. Michelle, I forgot to tell you before we started, when I end the live stream, you and I will still be here so we can
Okay.
chat for like 20
Okay.
seconds.
Yep.
But
Okay.
thank you so much, Michelle, first of
Thank
all, for
you.
taking your time to do this, and thank you everybody for watching. I've had a couple consistent viewers the whole time, and then other people have been popping in and out. But people watch this later because some
Yeah.
people may
Yeah.
be doing stuff at
Yeah.
2 o'clock. um,
Right.
but thank you everybody for watching. And as Michelle said, if you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to her. She will talk to anybody, and any you want to know about what's going on in the city, check out the city website, all the events, all the town halls, and your opportunities to come and voice your opinions, whatever they are, about what the city's planning on doing. So check all of that out. And thank you again, everybody. And thank you, Michelle. And I'll see you guys
Thank
next time.
you.
Bye.